Namaste, Shalom, Salam, everybody. Satnam, this is Mother Sophia. It's late in London. Well, late to make a video. It's like 9 o'clock in the evening, or is it 8? But I felt like I had to make this video about toxic families. Now, why am I making this video today? It's a subject that I believe it keeps coming up time and time again amongst my clients that come to me for healings. And today it smacked me in the face. So I went to see my own mother, who's not well at all, which, might make me feel a bit more guilty. So she's not very well at all. And I went to see her. Anyway, whatever happened, I went completely positive. I had an incredible vision and a dream last night, making me aware of what my further path is and that my gifts are going to increase. So I had two such dreams. Some of you know I'm the incarnation of Kuan Yin, Mary, Goddess Isis, and the female Christ is in my bloodline. So that has woken up inside of me, bringing me much revelation. And I get visits from angels and entities and messages in various ways, whether they're full-on visions, whether it's in dreams, or it's called the mysteries, or whether it's something happens outside. My path is guided. Everywhere where I travel, I'm guided to go to where I'm meant to go. Anyway, so I went to my mum's home completely happy and full of energy, and I left low. And then I was trying to transmute that energy, saying, Sophia, you're bigger than what happened in this space with your mum and her sister and other members of the family, and I've been aware of this toxic energy within my family for many years, and it became more apparent, I think, recently, maybe at the end of last year, about a year ago, when I found out that one of my sisters was involved in a very heavy lie that separated me from my mother, which now I'm actually quite grateful for. So I've got to be thankful to her for that lie, otherwise I would have still been in that toxic environment. So I've just made that realization right now. So when I realized that she'd made this lie, which had put me in fear for 20 years, like literally it was such a huge lie that I was in fear of my life. She'd made up this lie that someone was going to kill me and they were after me. Anyway, so I had this massive, great big fear that I was going to be killed by some Muslim person because of my non-Muslim ways. Because of this message that she'd sent me. And actually right now I've come to the realization, I'm so happy, because otherwise I probably would have been in that toxic environment for all those years. And all those years I was missing my mother, when in actual fact, she did me a favor. We're having realizations in this talk. I was talking about toxic families. So all of a sudden I'm changing everything to say that, okay, in 20 years' time, you'll realize that that toxicity brought you forward in life in leaps and bounds and gave you something that perhaps you would never have had or learnt or known or done, which is my case. Glory be. Realization right now. Aside from that, I went back there today and I was going to contribute to some medical costs for my mother. And I was going to do it the first time as well. Anyway, coming back, I was like, I cannot give energy to something that always brings my energy down. And so I made a decision. I said, I can't get involved and I can't go there again. Because at the end of the day, my mother's an adult, I'm an adult. And if she still cannot respect me and what I do and who I am, then, she finds it very cringeworthy that I can lay my hands on someone and I can heal them. For her, that's against her religion and her belief. So, but I've accepted that, and I have, but what I will not accept is an attack on what I do and who I am and my energy. So I've now decided that, that I need a new phone. So the phone I'm recording this on is a Samsung, and it keeps glitching, and I keep making these wonderful videos, and then I'll edit them and then they'll disappear. So I'm not going to stick with this phone and keep recording videos. I've actually got a new iPhone in the post coming. And yes, I've wasted £1,300 on this phone, which is quite a bit of energy to waste on something. But you know what? I'm not going to stick with it because I've put so much money into it. I'm getting another phone. I'm going to move on. I'm going to allow my movies to be made, and it's going to function a lot better, which is going to make my life much easier. So this is what you've got to do with toxic families. It's like a glitch in a phone or a computer. My computer, it's really weird I'm having these glitches with electronics. My computer, recently, I had it repaired, and then one day the screen just fell down and smashed. Actually got repaired 3 times. The first time I increased the memory, second time the screen fell down, didn't smash, got that repaired. Third time it fell down and smashed. I'm like, get a new computer. I'm done. Stop fixing what is old that cannot be fixed. There's messages there, right? Leave it. So as much as you think in your minds, there's this education that, you know, your parents are your everything, and they are. But you're not meant to be like them. You're not meant to suffer under your parents. And there are many who do and have suffered under their parents. And the reason why they've suffered under their parents is because their parents in some way have been indoctrinated or have suffered. So in my family's indoctrination, there's only one way. That's the way they look. That's the way they are. And unfortunately, there's a lot of hypocrisy within that, is that they then do things that they're not meant to do. But they'll still carry on with the indoctrination. So there's a lot of hypocrisy there. So what you'll find with toxic families is that there's a lot of hypocrisy within that toxic environment. And that toxic environment will do a number of things. It will turn you into the same species energy as where the toxicity came from. So if your mother was a particular way, you might end up exactly the same way. And this has been evident in my family. So my mother was, and my father were very, very violent to the children for example, talking to a boy. I'm not even joking. So I'd get beat up if I spoke to a boy. And then the same thing happened to my niece with my own sister, who beat her up. And then this particular niece has now gone on to be just like her mother in many ways. I don't want to go into the personal ways, but she's exactly like the print of her mother. The mistakes that the mother made, she's doing exactly the same. And for me, it's shocking to see a 21-year-old speak like her mother and my grandmother and her grandmother, who are like living in the past with these ancient views. I mean, my sister actually saw this on my head and said, Indians get that, and it means you cannot have a council house. And I'm quite shocked to hear that from somebody who is supposedly a modern day person. Toxic families are environments and energies like the computer. You must replace them or walk away. I have a wonderful soul family around me who are not blood related. But after today, and I've made this decision before, and we keep going back because we think they're family. But, and I'm going to say this as a healer, as a spiritualist, as a sacred divine being, is that when the energy is toxic, no matter whether you call them mum, dad, or whatever, you leave them. Now, sometimes you will walk away with this anger inside your heart and pain, and that will stop you from loving or progressing in your life because there's a part of you that's taken on their program. The first thing you've got to do is forgive them, for they know not what they do. They are acting out of unconsciousness. I've done a whole video on forgiveness. Once you've released that tie, you just say, I'm not them. And you will grow in ways that you never imagined. So if you have a toxic family, you don't need to impress them. You don't need to prove anything to them. All you've got to do is understand that everything is energy. And if you go into a situation and it makes you feel bad, then get out. Because it's not you, it's that environment. Before today, I felt absolutely incredible. And now when I'm back home, I feel like I've walked into the Middle Ages, into the past, which should not be around in my present. So if you're one of those incredible people who have toxic families, I'm sorry that it happened to you. But now you have duty of care to yourself to remove yourself from anything that is toxic. Families, friends, relationships, so that you can grow. And I promise you, you will grow into something incredibly magnificent, bigger, brighter, and more beautiful inside out than you ever imagined. I love you. Namaste, shalom, salam.